Have you ever wondered who the real MVP is when it comes to global hoop supremacy? Is it the NBA, where players give their blood, sweat, and occasional tears for that shiny championship ring? Or is it the FIBA World Cup, where countries battle it out for international bragging rights? Let's find out who the true champion of the hardwood is. When the talk turns to basketball legends like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, we hear about their bling, the rings, and MVP trophies. But curiously, their international gold medals often play second fiddle. It's almost like these gold medals are the cherry on top of a delicious sundae, a delightful bonus in the grand tapestry of their careers. Winning an NBA championship, it seems, is the basketball equivalent of climbing Mount Olympus. When an NBA team clinches that coveted NBA championship, they proudly don the title of world champions. Yet, here's the twist. They never have to face off against a single international opponent to earn that title. It's like calling yourself the world champion of pizza eating when you've never tried a slice from Italy. This isn't just me talking. US track and field star Noah Lyles recently weighed in on this very issue. He scratched his head and asked, why do NBA players call themselves world champions when they're basically a North American club? And you can't help but ponder his point. With the Toronto Raptors being the only NBA team outside the continental US, it's a fair question. But before we go all in on Team Lyles, let's swing back to the hardwood. The NBA has a point too. It's a global playground. You've got stars like Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama repping countries from far and wide. The league itself is like a United Nations of basketball. And let's not forget the US national basketball squad. They've got a trophy room that makes your local YMCA champs look like chumps. 16 Olympic gold medals, 5 from the FIBA World Cup, and 7 from the FIBA AmeriCup. And that's with some of the top-tier players opting out of international play. So while Noah Lyles might have a point about the words we use, the NBA is still like the heavyweight champion of the basketball world because of its star power and high level of competition. But hey, it's still a good debate to have. Not too long ago, this debate didn't matter much because the NBA was the only big game in town. But times are changing. Basketball does have its own World Cup, known as the FIBA World Championship. But let's be honest, it lags behind the NBA in terms of prestige and global recognition. The two differ not only in terms of significance but also in the style of play and regulations. First off, let's begin with the ball itself. NBA and FIBA basketballs may look alike, but the devil is in the details. The FIBA ball has 12 panels while the NBA ball has 8, yet they share the same overall size with a 29.5-inch circumference. Interestingly, after a tough loss to Greece in 2006, many American fans and journalists were convinced that the international ball was smaller. It just goes to show how tiny differences can play mind tricks. When it comes to free throws, the NBA and FIBA don't see eye to eye. In the NBA, a player can't step into the lane before the basket is made or it won't count, but FIBA rules let players walk through while someone is shooting. Plus, there's a time difference. In the NBA, players have a leisurely 10 seconds to take their free throws, a fact etched into the memories of anyone who watched Giannis Antetokounmpo's 2021 postseason. In FIBA, they only get a tight 5 seconds. It's like going from a Sunday stroll to a mad dash. Now, let's talk about the one most jarring difference that makes American viewers yell a goaltending ref during international games. In the NBA, the ball is off limits as long as it's above and within the imaginary cylinder of the rim. Touch it and you'll hear the whistle blow. And see the ref's right arm shoot up in the air. FIBA rules, however, flip the script. Once that ball hits the rim, it's a free-for-all. Players can tip it in or swat it away without fear of penalty. Moving on to the number of fouls, in the NBA, a player can rack up 6 fouls before getting ejected from the game. In FIBA, it's a stricter 5-foul limit. This changes the strategy for coaches, making early fouls a more urgent concern. Oh, and have you ever noticed how NBA games feel like they go on forever? Well, here's the scoop. NBA games have 4 12-minute quarters while FIBA opts for 10-minute quarters. That's an 8-minute difference in total game time. Quite a chunk, right? In fact, the NBA once tried experimenting with 11-minute quarters in a preseason game to cut down on game lengths, but it didn't stick around, possibly because it messed with TV timeouts and stats. You see, NBA games come with mandatory timeouts, 10 of them in a regular 48-minute game. Cutting down on these could affect advertising revenue and player statistics. Imagine trying to calculate player excess average in a shorter game. And don't even get us started on player substitutions and rest. Changing game duration is a real puzzle, and the players' union would definitely have a say in it. In terms of court size, NBA courts measure 94 by 50 feet, while FIBA courts are slightly smaller at 91 feet 10 inches by 49 feet 2.5 inches. It might seem like nitpicking, but the difference boils down to the use of the metric system in FIBA measurements. Essentially, FIBA wanted to match the NBA's court size in their own measurement system. A metric makeover, if you will. But here's the kicker. The three-point line is closer in. In FIBA, when a team grabs an offensive rebound, the shot clock resets to just 14 seconds compared to the NBA's 24 seconds. That's a lightning fast. You've gotta get things moving pronto. It's like a game of hot potato. The ball's gotta find the hoop and it's gotta find it fast. The differences in basketball rules have thrown a curveball at the US national team in FIBA competitions. The US national basketball team, stacked with NBA superstars, used to breeze through the international competitions like a hot knife through butter. But things have changed. In recent FIBA championships, their performance has been a bit rocky. The last time they made it to the finals was way back in 2014. And guess what? At the 2023 FIBA World Cup, Germany managed to shock the fancied United States with a nail-biting 113 to 111 win. It's like David taking on Goliath. After that stunning defeat, Team USA's head coach Steve Kerr made a jaw-dropping confession. He admitted, "These games are difficult. This is not 1992 anymore. Players are better all over the world. Teams are better, and it's not easy to win a World Cup or an Olympic game. It's like a reality check for Team USA, acknowledging that the world has caught up and the road to victory isn't a cakewalk anymore." Now here's where it gets spicy. Some are of the opinion that if it's so tough to conquer the FIBA world, maybe the NBA champions shouldn't be called world champions. Before 1992, NBA players were actually banned from competing for Team USA events like the Olympics. That meant that the coveted gold medal was the exclusive achievement of college players. It had a unique charm, a sense of raw, untamed talent. But then, in 1992, everything changed. FIBA decided to open the doors to professional athletes, transforming the medals into professional achievements. However, it didn't prove to be much of a challenge for the American basketball juggernaut. The 92 and 96 Dream Teams utterly decimated their competition, making gold medals seem as common as coins in a fountain. As a result, American players started to shift their focus back to the NBA Finals, somewhat neglecting international play. It was like returning to the comforts of home after conquering the world. However, something remarkable was happening on the global basketball stage. International players were stepping up their game, not disheartened by the beatings they received from Team USA. Then came the summer of 2000, a turning point in basketball history. The world got a glimpse of hope when Lithuania came agonizingly close to toppling the American dynasty, missing a game-winning three-pointer by a whisker. It was like a wake-up call, a sign that the basketball world was no longer a one-horse race. That year marked the beginning of a shift in the basketball landscape. It was the last time the USA would stand tall as the undisputed king of the basketball world. The game had evolved, and the international stage was no longer just a backdrop for American dominance. Maybe it's high time for the US national team to shift their focus and start paying closer attention to FIBA tournaments. If they can dominate at the international level and reclaim their status as the undisputed kings of international basketball, perhaps then no one will bat an eyelid when the NBA champions proudly claim the title of world champions. With 82 regular season games plus the pre- and post-season, the NBA is a grueling marathon. So for NBA players to be willing to put all their effort into FIBA tournaments and qualifiers might be too demanding for NBA players. It's like adding extra toppings on an already massive pizza. Okay, sure, NBA players have access to top-notch trainers and the best medical tools, but there's always a risk of serious injury. Most NBA fans want their beloved players to be healthy, rested, and in top form for the long NBA season. They'd trade a gold medal for a shiny championship ring any day of the week. It's like choosing between a trophy for your mantle or a sparkling diamond ring for your finger. Older players like LeBron James need the off-season recharge, and younger stars have their sights set on NBA titles and those big contract dollars. The risk of injury also looms large, as Paul George's leg-breaking incident during a Team USA scrimmage painfully illustrated. Now, the million-dollar question. Who truly deserves the title of world champion? The NBA champions or the FIBA champions? It's a debate as old as basketball basketball itself, and I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinions in the comment section below, and let's unravel this age-old mystery together.